Hello, I'm Adam Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Today is Thursday, and it is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute chaos happening in Genoa City and beyond. We have some incredibly intense updates to discuss today, and things are taking a very dark turn for some of our favorite legacy characters. Grab a coffee, settle in, and let's get straight into breaking down this wild upcoming episode. So let's start off by talking about Lily Winters, because she is absolutely not holding back in the upcoming episode. We are going to see Lily totally mocking the Summers Corporation, and honestly, it is kind of wild to watch. Lily has been through a lot over the years, and seeing her get a little petty and throw some serious corporate shade is entertaining, but you have to think about the bigger picture here. You guys know that Phyllis Summers is already in a terrible place mentally. Ever since that absolute nightmare a year ago when Martin Laurent faked his own death, killed his twin brother Alan, and then kidnapped Phyllis and Sharon Newman, Phyllis has been completely spiraling. She and Sharon were held hostage at that abandoned psychiatric facility, and even though they survived and formed this unbreakable bond, Phyllis just hasn't processed the trauma. She is in deep denial. She's been distracting herself by teaming up with Kane Ashby to execute this aggressive, hostile takeover of Genoa City and Newman Enterprises. So for Lily to be out here actively mocking the Summers Corporation right now, it is just throwing gasoline on a fire. Phyllis is already defensive and chaotic, and Sharon has been trying to talk her down and protect the Newman family, but Phyllis just yells at her and brings up all the past crimes of Victor and Jack. So Lily poking the bear is probably going to cause Phyllis to lash out even harder. But hey, corporate warfare is the name of the game in this town. But let's move on to the real meat of Thursday's episode, because things are getting incredibly dark and messy out in Vegas. And I mean really, really dark. Nick Newman is going to cause some serious trouble, and I am honestly still trying to wrap my head around this specific storyline choice, because Nick is going to use fentanyl. Yes, you heard me right. Fentanyl. What were they thinking? I mean, who actually believes this is going to end well? We are talking about Nick Newman, the guy who is usually the stable one, the father figure, the one who tries to hold the moral high ground against Victor. And now he is out in Vegas messing with one of the most dangerous drugs on the planet. It just feels so sudden and shocking. Maybe I'm being too harsh, and I know addiction can hit anyone at any time, but it just feels like the writers are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. It is just so painful to watch a legacy character go down this road. So here is exactly how this whole Vegas disaster plays out. Nick is in his hotel room, and he decides to use fentanyl right before he gets a phone call from Sharon and Chelsea Lawson. Like, why would you do that right before you have to talk to your ex-wives? It makes absolutely no sense. But people struggling with this stuff don't make logical choices, I guess. So Sharon and Chelsea are calling him from back in Genoa City because they are super anxious. They are desperate for any news on the search for Matt Clark. They have been waiting and waiting for updates, and they finally get Nick on the line. And at first, the call actually seems like it's going to be fine. Nick answers the phone, and he starts the conversation with this really excited, upbeat tone. He sounds pumped. He admits to Sharon and Chelsea that Adam Newman is currently hanging out with Riza Thompson, and he tells them that everything is going really well with the search. He is giving them hope. He sounds like the old Nick for about 2 seconds. But then the drugs start to kick in. And you guys, it is just so clunky and hard to watch. You can literally hear the shift in his demeanor. The fentanyl hits his system, and Nick goes from being this excited, helpful guy to just being completely confused and exhausted. His voice probably gets all slow and heavy, and he starts slurring his words. He is trying to hold on to the conversation, but his brain is just shutting down, and then he literally falls asleep in the middle of talking. He just nods off while holding the phone. It is such a raw, terrifying moment. So imagine being Sharon and Chelsea on the other end of that phone call. They are probably sitting there at Crimson Lights or at the penthouse leaning over the speakerphone, and suddenly Nick just stops talking. There is just dead silence, or maybe the sound of him breathing heavily. They are completely bewildered. They are literally asking the phone, "Hello, Nick, are you still there?" They have no idea what is happening. They are just trying to get information about Matt Clark, and now they are wondering if the guy on the other end of the line has just had a stroke or something. It is so stressful. And then suddenly Nick jolts awake. He snaps out of his drug-induced nod, realizes he is still on the phone with Sharon and Chelsea, and he completely panics. He knows he just messed up big time. So what does he do? He scrambles for the most obvious, clumsy excuse ever. He lies and says that Adam is calling him on the other line and that he has to go right now. And then he just abruptly hangs up. He just clicks the phone off. It is the most suspicious behavior ever. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. If you are trying to hide a drug problem, hanging up on two of the most perceptive women in Genoa City is not the way to do it. So, of course, back in Genoa City, Sharon and Chelsea immediately start discussing all of Nick's weird behavior. They are not stupid. They know something is seriously wrong. They are analyzing how he went from being super hyper and excited to completely exhausted in the span of 2 minutes, but their conversation quickly shifts back to their main source of anxiety, Adam. Chelsea is absolutely sick with worry about Adam being back in Vegas, because Vegas means the spider world. You guys remember the whole spider storyline, right? That dark underground gambling persona that Adam took on when he lost his memory. Chelsea is terrified that being back in that neon lit high stakes environment is going to pull Adam right back into that dangerous lifestyle. She is voicing all of these deep dark fears to Sharon. And Sharon, because she is always trying to be the rock for everyone else, steps up to reassure her. Sharon tells Chelsea not to worry, that Adam is going to be fine and that he is just focused on finding Matt Clark, which is honestly so typical of Sharon right now. She survived that horrific kidnapping by Martin Laurent, and ever since then she has been acting highly protective of everyone around her. She is constantly trying to keep the peace and fix people's emotional crises, whether it's fighting with Phyllis about Newman Enterprises or calming Chelsea down about Adam. She is just carrying so much emotional weight. But here is the absolute kicker, you guys. While Sharon is back home reassuring Chelsea that Adam is perfectly fine and focused on the mission, we, the audience, get to see what is actually happening in Vegas, and it is a total disaster. We cut back to Nick, and he has completely passed out again. He is just slumped over, dead asleep on the sofa in the hotel room. The fentanyl has completely taken him out. He is completely vulnerable. If Matt Clark or anyone else wanted to walk into that room and do something, Nick wouldn't even flinch. It is a really sad, pathetic visual for a character line too that's so strong. And while Nick is unconscious on the couch, what is Adam doing? Is he out on the streets, shaking down informants to find Matt Clark? Is he staying loyal to Chelsea, who is literally making herself sick with worry back home? No, of course not. Because it's Adam. Adam is currently very busy kissing and flirting with Riza Thompson. Yes, you guys, he is making out with Riza. I literally cannot with this guy sometimes. Chelsea is back home defending him and worrying about his soul, and he is out in Vegas locking lips with another woman. It is just so classic Adam. He gets back into that Vegas environment, the spider persona starts creeping back in, and he just completely loses his moral compass. It is so frustrating to watch, but it also fits the show's usual style of making Adam his own worst enemy. And the scene with Adam and Riza gets even weirder because of this one specific piece of dialogue. So they are kissing and flirting, and Adam makes some sort of comment about Riza's boyfriend, but he specifically assumes that her boyfriend is a man. And Riza stops him and asks, "How do you know that?" Or something along the lines of asking how he knew her partner was male. It is such a random pointed question to throw into the middle of a makeout session. What does this mean? Is the show hinting at something about Riza's sexuality or her hidden personal life? Or is Adam just making arrogant assumptions and getting called out for it? Or maybe Adam actually knows way more about Riza's current life than he is letting on, and he just slipped up and revealed it. You know how these writers work. They drop these little breadcrumbs of dialogue, and then 3 months later, it turns out to be a massive plot point. Honestly, this whole Vegas trip is just a giant mess. You have Nick literally passing out on drugs on a sofa, completely dropping the ball on the search for Matt Clark. You have Adam cheating on Chelsea and slipping back into his shady Vegas habits with Riza. And back home, you have Sharon and Chelsea completely in the dark, trying to piece together clues from a dropped phone call, while Lily Winters is out there mocking the Summers Corporation and probably pushing Phyllis even closer to a total mental breakdown. It is just chaos on every single front. I really don't know how Nick is going to hide this fentanyl use for much longer. He is already slipping up, and if he keeps nodding off during important phone calls, someone is going to fly out to Vegas and catch him. And if Chelsea finds out about Adam and Riza, well, we all know Chelsea does not handle betrayal very well. The fallout from this Thursday episode is going to be massive, and I am honestly a bit tired just thinking about how many arguments and tears this is going to cause in the coming weeks. But that is why we watch, right? We love the drama, even when it makes us want to pull our hair out. Let me know what you guys think about Nick's dark turn and Adam's cheating in the comments below, because I definitely need to hear your theories on where this is all heading.